We all know that it's hard to find a person who doesn't like to travel. At the same time, we spend most of our lives in one place, which even if we like it because of comfort, remains boring and ordinary. We're lucky because we can use our computers to go to the most amazing corners of the world where you can escape from the hustle and bustle of life. Can you think of breathtaking landscapes from other planets or fantasy stories? Have you seen cities that look impossible because of their unusual location and unique architecture that is unlike anything else? These places are real, and understanding this makes you admire the diversity of our world. In addition, it inspires us for new journeys, both real and virtual. The mighty cliffs with sheer walls in northern Greece look grandiose. Even more impressive is the monastery, which occupied 100% of the area of one of them, hanging over the walls directly over the abyss. It's a beautiful house, isn't it? It's the only dwelling on the entire island, which is located off the coast of Iceland. The house is hidden in a valley that protects it from the cold winds. This medieval city in Catalonia shows that people in the old days really knew how to use space. Ordinary bridges in China are associated with grandiose buildings or glass structures, but this bridge is something completely different. There are small buildings, shops, and cafes right on it, which offer stunning views. For those who want to be closer to nature and integrate their home into a picturesque landscape, architects have developed such housing. Inside, the furniture is built into the structure of the house, and many details create a unique atmosphere and harmony with the surrounding landscape. All fans of the Beatles and their famous Yellow Submarine should spend the night in this unusual hotel. Despite its appearance, it has all the amenities inside. But the most interesting thing is that here, you can stand at the helm and feel like the captain of a ship. In the 30s of the last century, a gifted Italian engineer decided to build an unusual country house in the suburbs of Verona that would rotate after the sun. The villa is powered by 2 diesel engines that move the house in a circle, which allows all rooms to receive the same amount of daylight. Located in the middle of the Drina River in Serbia, this lonely house stands on top of a rocky ledge surrounded by water. It was built in 1968 by a group of young friends who were looking for a quiet and secluded place to relax. Today, this small oasis is a popular attraction. This 100-meter-high pyramid in China is not just an experimental project that looks like a giant Lego. This is a residential building with hundreds of apartments. Would you like to live there? Slab City is located in the Colorado Desert in southeastern California. Slab City is a famous trailer city which served as a training base for American troops during World War II, and since 1965 has become a place of residence for former hippies, desperate people, as well as for ardent defenders of personal freedom. Don't worry, this is not an alien ship, but an original hotel. To get inside, you need to press the button on the nearest tree, after which a stair will appear. Inside, there are several beds and a set-top box for enjoying your time with friends. Perhaps someone will think that such housing resembles a futuristic hut on chicken legs. This house is able to move around, which makes it mobile and convenient for traveling. While being equipped with solar panels, it can provide overnight accommodation for 4 people, offering an eco-friendly and autonomous way of living. If you ever want to have tea in an unusual place, here is a great option. Here, cups serve not only as dishes, but also as decoration for walls and fences. There are about 25,000 of them in total, and each visitor can leave his cup as a souvenir to the owners. If you want to plunge into an upside-down world for a while, this house will be an excellent choice. Even though there is everything for life inside, it is difficult to use it because all the objects are upside down. It took the owners of this houseboat 2 years to turn what was supposed to be in a landfill into a cozy home. The most impressive thing is the attention to detail in the interior design, which is very contrasting with the exterior. This flat but small area at the top of a steep canyon cliff is probably the best place for yoga. There will definitely be no distractions here. The simple Andalusian village of Huescar in southern Spain was not that popular until Sony Pictures used it in 2011. Since then, it has been a blue city with blue houses, fences, churches, and even blue urns where images of fabulous Smurfs can be found everywhere. As you can guess, tourists do not miss the opportunity to visit here. Is this a mirage in the middle of the Gobi Desert? But no, wait, this is a real oasis. This is the final point of the camel tour route near the Chinese city of Dunhuang. Makoko was once a small village near Lagos in Nigeria. Now it is a huge city on stilts among the canals, and more than 200,000 people live here. The world's largest floating slums are both frightening and impressive. They look ugly, yet incredibly massive. Fanjing Mountain looks like it was taken right from Chinese fairy tales. On the steep cliffs, which seem to fly among the clouds at an altitude of 2.5 kilometers, the architects of antiquity somehow built elegant constructions with characteristic curved roofs. For introverts, or those who want to finally get closer to nature surrounded by stunning mountains, there is an opportunity to spend time in the picturesque Alps. The only drawback is that it's hard to get access to the most basic services, including healthcare. This amazingly beautiful settlement is located in the southwest of China. About 18,000 people live here and almost never leave its borders. The most interesting thing is that it is located at an altitude of 800 meters above sea level, and it is not so easy to overcome the way to the nearest neighboring city. These wind farms, which are built along the mountain range, give the place an unearthly look. When you drive along the road above the clouds, it's like you're on another planet where human colonists escaped from Earth centuries ago. These are not forgotten decorations for some kind of post-apocalyptic movie, but observation posts that Great Britain placed for its defense during the Second World War. These structures sticking out in the middle of the sea look mysterious and sad, don't they? There is a village in Iran, all the houses of which are located on a steep ledge of a hill, like the honeycombs of a huge beehive. All the houses are united by common walls and sometimes by passageways into one giant structure. Lake Tonle Sap in Cambodia is amazing because, in the rainy season, it is 6 to 7 times more full-flowing than in the rest of the year. Therefore, the houses here are located on huge stilts, which seem too high, but actually save the locals from flooding every year. When the tide begins to rise, the sea approaches along the narrow sandbar on both sides. Two waves meet, and it is impossible to take your eyes off this sight. Have you seen movies or anime in which the sky is reflected from the mirrored surface of an absolutely smooth, calm lake? This place exists in reality and is located in South America. The great city of Petra in Jordan is one of the most mysterious places on the planet. Can you imagine how much work and skill it took to carve such compositions in the rock, and even at a great height? This canyon is part of the Grand Canyon in Arizona, but the incredibly narrow passage with the curving walls of the winding path makes this site unique even against the background of other parts of the reserve. In fact, Sealand is the smallest country in the world, and it is located in the middle of the North Sea, not far from England. In 1967, retired British Major Paddy Roy Bates announced the creation of the new Kingdom of Sealand, which is a platform standing on two hollow towers. This modern house in the resort of Rimini in Italy fits perfectly into the picturesque countryside. The most interesting thing is that thanks to its special mechanism, it can rotate 360 degrees. In addition, it is made of eco-friendly materials and solar panels are installed on it. In Vancouver, life on the water is not considered something unusual. All the marinas and bays are filled with yachts and houseboats. Living here is much cheaper than on land, so houseboats are becoming more and more popular. In addition, it is possible to rent such a dwelling temporarily while being close to the mainland. Yangjin is a Chinese city whose tall and colorful buildings are located right on the bank of a mountain river, resting on steep slopes. The view from the windows here is gorgeous. There is a huge lake in the northeast of Thailand on the surface of which pink lotuses bloom every year. Their petals are blooming all around the place. There is a man-made island in the Caribbean Sea that is only slightly larger than a football field, but 1,500 people live here, which makes it one of the most densely populated places in the whole world. If your house is located on the top of a mountain, constantly blown by all the winds, how can you use it? As you can see, you can turn this place into one giant musical instrument with the help of hundreds of bells. At first you don't understand what's special about this climber, but then the camera on the drone moves away and you see the scale of this rock with a smooth vertical wall. How do you imagine living on top of the world? Residents of La Rinconada in Peru are well aware of it because they live at an altitude of 5,100 meters, where there is 2 times less oxygen than at sea level. There is no running water or sewerage, and most people live in tiny houses in constant cold. They tolerate such conditions for the sake of gold mining. The village of Kandavan in Iran is able to impress any traveler. It was founded more than 700 years ago, and now there is running water and electricity. Each house is a cave with a door and windows where ordinary living rooms can't be seen. The walls are about 2 meters thick, so the temperature inside is always comfortable. The British Halley 6 research station is located on the Brant ice shelf in the Weddell Sea. Its structures are raised on supports and can be moved. The station consists of 8 modules that provide comfortable accommodation for 32 researchers, blue modules for conducting scientific research, and the only red one that serves as a recreation area.
To be honest, I'm speechless after witnessing it. What about you?
Under the streets of Bucharest, the Romanian capital, there is a network of tunnels 2 kilometers long, which are a refuge for a group of disadvantaged people and runaway teenagers. Sadly for many of them, dirty underground dungeons became the first real home in their lives. Utqiagvik in Alaska is the northernmost settlement in the United States. Most of the locals are Inuit, who have preserved a traditional culture with a 1,000-year history. The village in the Lurong Valley in Tibet impresses with the view of beautiful houses with red roofs against a background of green slopes. There are about 10,000 people living here, most of whom are Buddhist monks who study and practice at the local academy. At the same time, not the entire territory of the Grand Canyon is included in the national park. Part of it belongs to the local Native American reservation. They built a city here, which is now lost among the canyon walls. First of all, this road is an important transportation hub, but when you look at its night landscape from a height, you realize that it is also modern art in its purest form. Architects can experiment with unusual shapes and materials to create unique and impressive buildings and entire residential complexes. These may include the use of unique shapes, unusual facades, or even the integration of modern technologies. In addition, they are striving to create houses that perfectly fit into the natural landscape and use its features in their design. This village in Sichuan province in China became famous when a video showing people climbing old wooden stairs up a sheer cliff appeared online. The journey took several hours and it was the hardest task ever for the elderly and children. Fortunately, the Chinese authorities paid attention to the village, installed new stairs, and offered those who wanted to move. There is a fabulously beautiful village of Giethoorn in the Netherlands. You won't find the usual hustle and bustle, and it's surrounded by unsurpassed landscapes. There are no roads here, but there are numerous waterways that replace streets and bridges that are so pleasant to walk on. The main means of transport here are boats. When water meets rock, the result can take on the most bizarre shapes. There are many beautiful fjords and rocks in Norway, but there is one in which there is a mysterious opening through. The locals associate it with trolls. When you see this scale of the passage, you'll realize that it was created for giants. When the mining in this quarry ended, it was flooded. It turned out to be a lake that looked like a giant eye from a height. The shade of the water shows that the depth of the reels here is small, everywhere except for an almost perfectly round dip into the ocean abyss. This well with massive steps is located in India. The building is even more impressive when you find out that it is about 1,000 years old. People will always be attracted to the most creepy places on the planet, and this is one of them. Locals are constantly leaving the village of Nagoro in Japan in search of a better life, but their houses are not empty. As you can see, they were occupied by dolls. Currently, the puppet population of Nagoro is 10 times larger than the human population. These dolls look like stuffed animals, and they can be found everywhere.
Before watching similar videos, it would be great to buy some sedative pills. One needs nerves of steel here.
These places are called favelas. They are Brazilian slums that have a very low standard of living and a very high crime rate. The key feature of the favelas in the south of Rio de Janeiro is their location on steep cliffs. All the houses here were built illegally, so for many years there was no sewerage, no running water, and even no electricity. Fortunately, the situation has started to change now. This unusual bridge is located in one of the many suburbs of Chongqing in China. People live here as if they are not on a bridge over a river, but on an ordinary street. All local buildings are built in both traditional Chinese and European style, and all of them are located very close to each other due to lack of space. This is not just another houseboat, but a real underwater observatory. After going down, you can watch marine animals and fish for hours. After going upstairs, you enjoy the sun and a light breeze.
It was so cool! It's hard to comprehend how this is even possible.
Due to the lack of available land, people resort to building their homes in unusual places once in a while. These original cliff houses are often the result of self-construction by residents using cheap materials. Most often, there is no access to basic utilities and communal services, which leads to hygiene and health issues. Sometimes road construction plans do not take into account some nuances. The owners of this house in China refused compensation and did not leave their house, despite the fact that there should have been a new highway in its place. The road had to be placed around the building, and now it is not so convenient for drivers to pass here, while the residents of the house suffer from constant noise. The once picturesque and beautiful Shaanxi province in China has been severely affected by drought. Devastating weather conditions, wildfires, and extreme heat completely destroyed hundreds of thousands of hectares of farmland, and millions of people were experiencing a shortage of drinking water. Most mountains have gentle slopes, but there are also some in the world that seem to have been cut off by a giant's knife. Would you like to sit on such a ledge, dangling your legs over the abyss? In many regions of the Sahara and Arabian Desert, the dunes are so high that you can ski down from them like snow-capped peaks. Is amazing. This house is called the loneliest in the world. It is located on the slope of a remote mountain region at an altitude of more than 2,000 meters above sea level in the middle of Dolomites in Italy. It is believed that this impressive building was built during the First World War. It is possible to reach it, but it requires a high level of physical fitness. Fort Erie is in the Canadian state of Ontario at the source of the Niagara River, where it flows out of Lake Erie. From time to time, due to severe storms in winter, it turns into an ice kingdom. When the wind is very strong, the waves from Lake Erie hit the houses, and the water immediately freezes. Even today, not all people like the globalized world and the benefits of progress. Many of them prefer to live not only closer to nature, but also in separate communities, minimizing contact with the outside world. This unusual settlement is located in the mountains of China. The houses are made of natural materials, and even the stairs were created with hands. Aogashima is one of the most amazing and inaccessible volcanic islands in Japan. It can only be reached by helicopter. As you can see, it is surrounded by an impregnable coastline of high mountains and cliffs. Approximately 200 people live on its territory, most of whom are engaged in fishing and agriculture. Not everyone would agree to live in this house because its walls are completely made of glass and absolutely transparent. Any passerby can see everything that happens inside, and privacy can be enjoyed only in the bathroom and toilet. Chinese authorities are actively taking care to make transport links more convenient and often relocate entire areas to other places. The owners of this house did not want to leave their heritage so easily, Now their house stands on a new road, becoming a symbol of steadfastness and affection for their native place. If you're confused by the shape and appearance of an ordinary garage, then modern architects and designers have found a solution. They have created a space hidden from view where you can park your car without disturbing the aesthetics of the house and the plot. If you constantly want variety and get bored with the same views from the window, you may be interested in a building that rotates around its axis. Even though the idea may seem fresh and unconventional, this house was built back in 1968. There is an unusual village in the east of Azerbaijan which is more than 7,000 years old. It has many four-story houses that have preserved their original appearance. On the ground floor there are rooms for livestock, the second floor serves as a living space for the owners, the third floor is reserved for guest rooms, and the fourth is used for storing various things. Such gypsy vans are called Vardo. They are traditional mobile gypsy dwellings, usually richly decorated with attention to detail. Vardo is not only a means of transportation, but also a symbol of cultural identity, combining comfort and practicality for a nomadic lifestyle. There are places on Earth where you can feel very small. This is one of them. Residents of the Redwood City Marina near San Francisco were asked to leave their homes in exchange for a large compensation, and although most agreed to move, this large two-story houseboat with a white palisade turned out to be floating on the bay. Even the most luxurious hotels cannot compare to the rooms in this water tower. This is not only an unusual and stylish solution, but also a stunning view opens from the panoramic windows. The only problem is that in order to climb to the 4th and 5th floors, you need to overcome the spiral staircase, as well as your fear of heights. Probably many people in childhood dreamed of their secret room where they could hide from the whole world. This room seemed to be a place where there would be everything you need to spend time both alone and in the company of friends. It can also be used as a place where you can forget about everyday worries. Some people are particularly concerned about the privacy of their personal lives and prefer their home to remain unnoticeable from the outside. They deliberately choose or create an unattractive exterior so that no one can guess how good it is inside. If you don't have a plan for the apocalypse yet, you might want to consider buying a $50,000 Sphere house. This house is able to protect against floods, fires, and radiation. It consists of 2 compartments. One is designed to accommodate 14 people, and the other is for storing food and drinking water. If you don't like a smart apartment and you're looking for your own house on a limited budget, you can take an example from Gregory the Clown and live in a trash can. Such housing will not attract the attention of thieves, but at the same time, it has everything you need: a kitchen, a sleeping place, and a toilet, and if desired, you can install a bar and even a shower outside. For those who are in love with the world of aviation, there is nothing better than living in a real airplane. This unique dwelling includes 2 comfortable bedrooms, a living room, toilets, a kitchen, and even a cockpit. One of the entrances is located in the cargo hold, so you can feel like a real crew member. This is simply amazing. The modern pace of life requires a person to be able to quickly adapt to various circumstances, including frequent travel. Therefore, a transformer house can be an ideal solution, offering mobility and comfort in any environment. Even though this booth may not seem attractive from the outside, one cannot deny its convenience for life. Inside, there is everything you need. It has a kitchen, a bathroom, and a room that can easily be turned into a bedroom. However, the highlight of this house is the charming terrace. Even though the exterior of this house may be confusing at first, the unusual sensations disappear when you go inside. This spacious room is decorated with large oval windows, which makes the interior unique. There is also a grandiose swimming pool and a magnificent terrace. This small wooden house is unlikely to be considered attractive from the outside. Inside, it reveals its charm thanks to the cozy kitchen and bedroom. At the same time, many people may be confused by the lack of a shower. The Chinese authorities have decided that this is an ideal place to build a new road. However, unlike the rest of the residents of the area, the owners of this house refused to sell it because they had very valuable memories of their native homes. In today's world, where many people work remotely, sometimes you can't do without a personal account. This man decided to build it outside his house. Despite the limited space, it has everything you need for work, reading, and even a secluded vacation. Like many other megacities, Hong Kong is facing problems of overpopulation and housing shortages. In response, one of the architects implemented an unusual idea, turning old water pipes into compact but cozy living spaces. Such a house located in the middle of a busy road or avenue may not seem like the most comfortable place to live. However, its location opens up a number of opportunities for commercial use. For example, the ground floor can easily be turned into a car wash or cafe. This house was built in 1968, which is hard to believe because even with the use of modern technology, it is not so easy. Surely those who seek solitude and harmony with nature are delighted with such a location. It's hard to even imagine that someone once lived here. This small stone house in Arizona is now empty, but there are things inside that indicate an unusual atmosphere, far from the usual home comfort. If most hotels seem monotonous to you, pay attention to this one. It is made in the shape of a huge potato. It is designed to comfortably accommodate 2 people and, in addition to all necessary amenities, is equipped with a jacuzzi. For $1 million, you can purchase a unique house carved into the rocks of Utah. It has 9 rooms and 3 garages, and it is located on a fairly extensive territory. In addition, it is equipped with solar panels and has its own bomb shelter. Even though houseboats are quite popular, not all of them look so modern and provide comfort and everything. This house has not only spacious rooms, but also a powerful enough engine for movement, as well as solar panels for autonomous power supply. Life in slums is difficult to call comfortable due to the lack of basic amenities, high population density, poverty, limited opportunities, and increased crime. However, it cannot be denied that in such areas there is often strong cohesion and support between residents. Who would have thought that from ordinary metal containers you could create a house with a modern design, which would have a bedroom, kitchen, living room, and even balconies with a terrace? Such a house surprises both with its functionality and elegance, demonstrating how simple materials can become the basis for a modern home.
And our episode has come to an end, and we hope that you enjoyed watching this video. We look forward to your questions and comments. Thank you for always being with us.